There's something awful going on here in the United States Senate, and people should focus on it right now. That the Senate is not doing their job. And we see a president unilaterally going off to fight a war, to declare war, without any authority from the United States Senate or the United States Congress. What does it mean when the body that is supposed to provide checks and balances checks out? What does it mean when the body that's supposed to provide oversight covers its eyes and refuses to see what's happening? What does it mean when the body that should be having hearings on this war will not hear, will not look, will not ask questions? We are in a constitutional crisis, and Americans are paying the cost. The worst of all costs, the death of our men and women, with 13 dead, over 200 injured, and Congress is doing nothing. No checks, no balances, no oversight, no hearings. What does it mean when Americans all over this country are paying the cost with the worst energy shock crisis in the history of our country? According to the International Energy Agency, as of yesterday, the crisis we are experiencing is larger than the two major oil shocks of the 1970s combined. And what does Congress do? Nothing. No oversight, no hearings, no checks, no balances. Americans are feeling the pain already of this administration cutting health care for millions. They're feeling the pain already, seeing their energy crisis go up. They're seeing the pain already from billions being cut from our Veterans Administration and millions more being cut from student lunch programs and the services we provide to special needs. And Congress does nothing. We are supposed to be the body that declares war. Well, we're at war, but we also have the power of the purse. And what is happening with the purse right now? We have just spent $25 billion in Donald Trump's war. That kind of expenditure with no oversight, no hearings, no checks and balances. $25 billion is enough to provide health insurance for over 3 million Americans. $25 billion means 30 million children could have free school lunches. $25 billion could provide millions of Americans with affordable housing or housing assistance. There are things going on right now that nobody on either side of the aisle thinks the president should be able to do without any kind of oversight, without any kind of hearings. Like give Russia billions of dollars, relieving them of sanctions, the very adversary that continues to prosecute their war in Ukraine and undermine our democracy at home. No hearings, no checks and balances, no oversight. This is not just a constitutional crisis. This is a shame upon this body. I'm grateful for the War Powers resolution that Chris Murphy has brought forward. I'm grateful for Tammy Duckworth, Tammy Baldwin, Tim Kaine, for us joining together to force these War Powers resolutions so that the Congress is not silent, that at least people have to take a vote. But think about what's happening right now. We see a president moving to move more American troops. It was reported.
This is Delta G again. You see what the senator is talking about? The prejudiced Republican Party in America, there are some black people in there, and some Asian and Native American, but 90%, 95% is prejudiced white people. President Trump do not obey the Constitution. And the Bible tell us, and God tell us, we are supposed to follow man's law as long as man's law follow God. President Trump is an evil man. He is incredibly evil. Anybody that would drop 2 bombs on school and kill 167 kids with no remorse. Somebody that's starting a war against someone that's not attacking us and not trying to attack us. Yeah, they talk a lot of mess, but we bomb and take over more countries than any other country in the world. We are the most evilest acting, robbing people of their livelihood, robbing people of their family. No one does that more than America. This is going to be one of the most bloodiest civil war in the history of the world. Back during the Civil War, that was only a little over 3 million people in what we call America. You got over 60 million Hispanics. You got like at least 25 million Asians. You got over 40 million blacks in America. And this white man is taking our money and putting the National Guard and everything on us with our own money. The Constitution tells us we don't have to let that happen. The Constitution says no one is above the law. If somebody is breaking the law, we're supposed to stop them. And the Republican Party, the MAGA Republican Party, they are violating my rights. They are taking my money. And they're spending billions and billions of dollars going to war that wasn't even approved by Congress. Congress is not doing their job. Congress is the only person that can spend money in America. He's the only person that can declare war. The president is out of order. He is out of order. He's a traitor to the Constitution of the United States of America. And everyone that support him is just as guilty. Everyone that support him is just as guilty. Everyone support that evil, the murder of children, the murder of women and children from the air that you don't even know, that ain't never did nothing against you. You just gonna drop bombs and kill innocent people. There's no way that you can be with God. There is no way that you can believe in God. It's impossible. It's impossible for God to sanction evil. There's a whole bunch of lying going on in America. There's a whole bunch of evil in America. It is shameful. It is shameful.